this episode of the Build Insite Podcast, we welcome Kyle Zanetto, a visionary in the building industry and a torchbearer for driven professionals. As the mastermind behind Zanetto Builders and Future Builder Co., Kyle has been leading the charge in crafting beautiful, sustainable homes and fostering an entrepreneurial culture in the building industry. His central mission? To create a future of fulfillment through both top-tier residential projects and enriching educational resources. Listen in to discover how his passion for the building extends beyond the physical realm into the arena of personal and professional growth. This episode promises to be a deep dive into the journey of morphing brick and mortar businesses to fulfilling enterprises that touch countless lives.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Build Insite Podcast, and we are joined today by Kyle Zanetto. He wears many hats, but today we'll be chatting to him about Zanetto Building or Builders and also Future Builder Co. I'm really intrigued to hear more about that one as well. Just to start off with, Kyle, would you mind just telling our listeners who you are and what it is that you do?
Yeah, how you going, guys? It's good to be on here with the Build Insite boys. I've been following along with your work over the past few years as well, so good to be part of this community. So, yeah, a little bit about myself. Just ticked over to 31, so I'm actually an adult now, I think. Kind of forged into it. Coming up to 7 years running Zanetto Builders. Kind of obviously started doing your smaller stuff, and now we've pushed into the high-end architectural custom home space and obviously niching into high-performance homes and passive house. I've got a fairly large team in northern Tassie. We've recently branched out into the southern end of Tasmania as well, so we're scaling that as we speak. And then we've also got a small East Coast division, so we're away working on the beach, which is a nice change since I bloody love it down there, boys. So I'd spend most of my time there if I could.
So whereabouts are you based, just for the listeners who aren't familiar? So whereabouts are you based at the moment, Kyle? Like, where's your main?
Oh, I don't even know. Just Tasmania,
general.
I think.
In the car?
Yeah, nah. So, yeah, I literally just do 1,000-kilometre circles around Tassie at the moment every week. But no, I'm full-time based in Launceston at the moment. I'm probably spending 2 days a week on the East Coast and the other couple down in Hobart, with a long-term plan to probably spend more time in Hobart as that scales, now that the Northern Tassie branch is more self-managing, which is
I was
nice.
just doing a little bit of research into Zanetto Builders. I was really intrigued by the Forever Home. Would you mind sort of expanding on that more? It sounds like a fantastic methodology that you've got or process you've got, and I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so it probably all started when I was really trying to nail down on my ideal customer avatar. So I think, as we all know, the clients that you accept into your business will reflect the outcome of the project. So I learned some pretty valuable lessons early on, taking on clients that now I wouldn't have taken on, just due to value alignment, financial alignment, and all the other boxes we've got to tick. So when I looked at my ideal avatar, I said, all right, what's the perfect home for them? It's going to be the home that they want to stay in for the rest of their life. So they're not there to develop or make money or turn the home over in 3 to 5 years. I want something they're going to say, right, we're there for 20 to 30 to 40, maybe even longer years' time. And then that's obviously going to lead them to want to invest heavily in the project, the quality of the build, the quality of the builder, the processes that builder delivers. And, yeah, all in all, it is going to bring you a more more highly qualified customer, I guess, would be the way to put it.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome point you make, mate, because I know from our side of things with Backman Builders, we are really big on family, and I feel like our clientele, we want them to be a part of that family through that process. I mean, some of our clients, we've got a client right now that we're in our 4th year as we've gone through. It's quite a complex project, a lot of delays, and they are honestly like an extension of the Backman Builders family. And if you're not looking at that, it's such a reflection of, okay, we've got to actually maybe have a relationship with these people for 2 years potentially or more. And it's not a knock on the client. It's just a reality. Like just Zanetto do amazing things. But reality is you might not suit everybody, and vice versa for the clients and the builder. So it's a fantastic way to go about it.
Yeah, and what you mentioned, mate, like that's bang on with us too. So I've got obviously through homes are what we build, and then our Forever Home process is our customer onboarding document, which outlines our steps up until construction. And within those 6 steps, I've listed it out like a marriage proposal. So I've got like your first date, which is get them off Tinder or whatever, go on your first date to see if you get along with a customer, and then you go exclusive, so you're doing your letter of engagement. Then you're setting expectations with the other documents, and then when you go through the contract, it's like, all right, here's the marriage, and then the build phase is the honeymoon, like the enjoyable stuff after it all gets going. So yeah, like you said, 2 to 3 to maybe 4 years in pre-construction, then you've got 10 years plus afterwards. Like you're looking after the home, and as you know, when you're building a home for this type of customer, it's not a transactional relationship. It's a friendship that you build. So you got to obviously nurture and maintain that friendship as well.
Exactly right, mate.
Yeah. I mean, looking at your online presence, Kyle, like you come across like a man on a mission. Like it's evident that you care about not just your clients and your business growth and the way it grows, but also how you present yourself. You've got a very strong brand and marketing aspect. What drove you to your key values? Like, where do you stand with this now? And then maybe segueing into your newest venture as well, Future Builder Co.
Yep. So me being of Italian heritage, I suppose your name is what you have in life. So for me, it's like you boys at Bachman. If you name your company after your family name, you don't have a fallback option. Like you can't franchise or sell your business or walk away from it and start a new one. Like I am Zanetto Builders. I fucking live and breathe this thing, and there's nothing that I will do that's going to let this business fail. And everything just comes on from the pride you have in your family, your brand, your history, and what you're looking to do for the future of your family name as well. It's not just me. I want Zanetto Builders to be 100, 200-year business that carries on. So I think name is important, especially you look at Tassie, mate. We've got 2 heads and only about 40 people down here. Once you burn your name, your reputation's damaged. So it doesn't matter what happens or what you do, whether you're losing $200,000 on a job, you've still got to deliver that customer service because the word will spread like wildfire in a small island.
You're practically a country town on an island, mate. So yeah, it's very important. Can I ask you, mate? So we've previously just had chats as with the Build Insite crew and things that you would do differently. If you started again and, talk about going through hard times and so forth. I know for myself, we've all gone through failures and hard times, and that steeled me into the person, the builder, the businessman I am, and flows my passion. So embracing failure is something that for me is massive, and learning from it. I get the feeling, mate, there's some things there from your early days as well that have definitely helped you grow, blossom, however we want to put it, to the path you're on now, or paths, I should say, mate, because you're got a lot of great stuff happening.
Yeah, and I think in your earlier days, like let's say you're 20 to 25 or 20 to 30-year-old, you're a male and your ego drives you, and your failures are a bit more embarrassing. They are a lesson, whereas now I can look back at it and say every major failure or the biggest issues I've had in my life, they have been the strongest learning curves. I don't really remember my wins like I do my failures, and decisions I make now will reflect how those failures made me feel, I think. So, yeah, like you said, just accepting that failure is part of the journey and that's where your growth comes from is also what builds resilience as a person, as a man, as a partner, as a business owner, and as a leader. So it's all part of the process, mate. And we're obviously looking to build platforms to prevent failure, but there's also a certain degree of failure you can't prevent. Like your boys, like you've got to go out and work the 100 hours a week to kind of know what it feels like and miss out on the finer things in life to know, all right, now I want to build a business that works for me so I can enjoy that because this is how it made me feel. Because if you're just going off what someone tells you and you don't have the experience behind it, you can't truly know. So, yeah, it's just fall over, get back up, and keep going.
How do you feel now, Kyle? Like at this moment, with everything you've got going on, what is that emotion that you have?
It's choice.
Yep.
So before it was something that grew and grew and grew. It was like you build the monster and then you got to feed the monster type scenario. Whereas now, if I wanted to walk away from my business, it would provide me the lifestyle I'd be comfortable with. But I'm here doing what I'm doing because I'm fucking passionate about it, and I want to help other people not make the mistakes, like make the mistakes, but not have the repercussions that I had with financial loss, relationship loss, mental health battles, all that kind of stuff. So it's just about, as you boys know, telling your story and just making it more common.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. Like, yeah.
It sounds like you've been down a lot of different passageways. You've ventured behind to so many doors to open them to see what's there, and then sort of at times go backwards to go forwards, and various different outcomes, I'm sure, throughout that journey. Is this something that you is this one of the reasons that you've felt so passionate about education and wanting to provide that to others? Like, what drives you to provide that education aspect?
I think it was like it fills my cup to be able to help someone. Like, running a successful business is great and all, but that's a personal endeavour. It doesn't truly give you the reward. Like, let's say, for example, when we launched Future Builder, when I put up my story video, say 2 weeks ago, I would have had 10 young builders across Australia message me like, hey, mate, like, that story hits home fucking hard. Like, I'm going through the same stuff. Would you mind jumping on a phone call so you can kind of talk about it and just see what we can do to get through it? And, like, those phone calls and those messages, that hits me harder than anything I've ever achieved in business.
It feels good.
Yeah.
So it is, yeah. There's an emotional tie to that. It's I agree with you. I get the same feeling. I actually feel freaking fantastic when I'm assisting and providing education and doing these things. And I think that's great to actually adopt that, to actually work on that emotion of feeling good about that, because it is ultimately inspiring and helping others, like it's assisting. Like, so maybe, you've touched on Future Builder there. Do you want to sort of just give us a rundown of what that is and what do you want to achieve with it? What's it ultimately about?
So Future Builder is a compilation of every hole, or not whole, but everything I've seen with every other learning platform across the industry. And we've tried to fill all of those holes by putting everything you need in one place. It's not go to a business coach and just get mindset or just get business systems. Like, we're going to bring psychs in as well. We're going to talk about food. We're going to talk about family. We're going to provide tools that are implementable, not just have a resource that's not white labeled. We're going to have every document you can imagine with instructions how to load your brand on it in Canva. So you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of asset, which is branded in your company. Branding, because as you know, if you're a business owner, even finding the time to make the documents look like your brand is difficult. So that, and then we've also got like key components that I've built, like financial dashboards that you can plug and play into any accounting software, estimating sheets that I use on every single home, all fully formulated. So you just have to understand the plan, and it's just a super simple data entry point. Just tools that are implementable, I suppose, and give you the quick wins rather than having to go and build things yourself based on the knowledge knowledge you take in, I suppose, from the
And
courses.
I imagine some pretty detailed or very clear instructions on how this all goes together and how to use all these things. It's
every course is structured, so it's a short and sharp video that's scripted, that's visually engaging, so it's got animation and overlays, and then at the end of every course we've got an implementable resource. So you've got what the problem is, you've got the storyteller or the delivery person, what the outcome you're going to get from the course, how we're going to deliver it, and the implementation side as well. So if you come to me and go, Kyle, I want to know how to do the perfect estimate, here's 5 videos and 5 resources to show you how to do the perfect estimate, so you're guaranteed to hit your net profit margin.
Are you aiming to tailor this as well for specific needs and for each individual? Yeah, yep. Perfect.
Yeah, definitely. And everything I've built is fully customizable. New home builds, like the template I've built up to 3 stories, including all the passive house requirements. It's fully editable, so you can do a renovation template as well. So you can go back and edit it, customize it to your own business. Dashboards, so for example, rather than just having like your Xero or your QuickBooks and going and doing your monthly accountant meetings, it spits out a personal report and will say, here's your 5 KPIs, income, overhead, cost of sales, gross profit, net profit as a dollar value, as a previous 6-month average, and as a percentage. So you know what percentage of targets you've got to hit. And then I also track my personal working hours every day, professional development hours, and work-free hours. And I can divide that back by my net profit per month to see if my effective hourly rate as a business owner is being leveraged and going up, because that's the true metric of a business, is working less and earning more.
There you go. I mean, in hearing all of this now, I'm sure there's listeners who are intrigued to know, what do you personally do to manage your time? Like, what does your productivity schedule look like? Like, what?
Fucking
On top of that, mate, how many hours do you chase that dog of yours around Big Thor? Isn't he the real superstar of Zanetto?
Mate, so there you go. Here's the fix. I've actually got a collar on him, and if I don't put the collar on him, he'll go and do whatever he wants. But if I put the collar on him, he knows that he gets a beep, and if he doesn't come back, he gets a zap, and he'll make me a coffee if I ask her.
If you're not following and listening, if you're not following Zanetto Builders or Kyle Zanetto, you'll see his border collie pasted on the ute at the moment, getting some good marketing airtime as well. It's always a good laugh, mate.
Yeah, he's big sticker on the back, and then he hangs his head out the back window with his crazy tongue and his bung eye, so he looking all freaky and stuff.
But you love a bit of fishing. Obviously, Tassie. We're a little bit jealous of you Tassie guys, mate. You're definitely doing some great things. But yeah, what's in the spare time after a busy week?
Yep, so I kind of go through phases. So it's like work hard, play hard. So if I've got to knuckle down and do 80, 90 hours a week, I'll just get it done. My motto is like, do whatever it takes to get it done to a certain degree. But simple day for me is 4:35 a.m. Get up, get ready, chuck Pep Talk in, which is an app I use to get my head in the right space every morning. Time block out and structure my day in a written form in a diary that sits next to my desk. Obviously run my Outlook calendar so I can colour code and see different businesses, different meetings, and that's how it's really clearly laid out. And then I'm trying to knock off at 4 to 5 o'clock, get to the gym, put hour and a half into the gym, and then be getting home to either get some exercise in with the dog or spend some time with a partner, which we obviously block out certain days. We're trying to make that a priority.
Nice. Love it, mate. A lot of balance there, which is fantastic. I'll throw you in here, mate, but you've last year raised over $40,000 just in 2023. So massive hats off, and that's, just so inspiring. So can you tell us a little bit there, mate, of what you're doing with charities and what's the plan moving forward? You're very active, which is amazing.
Yep. So I probably didn't really get into it until my own family got affected with cancer. We obviously lost my nan not too long ago, so that was the first year I kind of dove into the Relay for Life. Left it pretty late, 2 weeks before the Relay for Life. Obviously, Nan kind of passed away not long before that, and I said, all right, let's start doing something to give back. So in those 2 weeks, the strategy I used, I basically got on social media. I sent an email out to every contact I've ever emailed through Zanetto Builders, raised about, I think it was $14,000 in 10 days or something, and then kind of put myself out there on social media and said, I'm going to do 20 hours without sitting down once. Let's see how much money we can raise. So, knocked out the 20 hours in my stubbies and my Explorers, my work boots, thinking that it was going to be not too bad, but ended up with trench foot and couldn't walk the next day, basically, and had to fly to Sydney for the Build Expo on crutches.
Committed, mate. That's fantastic.
Committed, yeah.
I think Anthony, us guys in Victoria and probably a lot of Australia have rightfully so really turned their heads to Tassie. You guys are definitely leading the charge with building better, building healthier. A lot of us are all Passive House certified and so forth. So there's a real spur on there with the community. That's how we've reached out and been chatting over the years with yourself and Backman Builders and Outlier and the whole crew. So what do you think it is down there, mate? We always laugh and say there's something in the water, but obviously there is a moment because there's some great guys doing some amazing things in Tassie.
Yeah, I think it is such a, I wouldn't say a small place, but it's such a tight-knit community because we all kind of know each other and network. So once one person starts making steps in a good direction, no one wants to get left behind, I suppose. If we've all got that moral alignment we're all going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing each other to raise that bar for what is acceptable for a standard across Tasmania. We also don't have the big development-driven communities for the big developers. Like, you're not seeing 100 homes knocked up just so we can sell them off the plan and make 2% per home. Like, it's a more small, sustainable building environment where our clientele are more forever home builders. Like, you get a lot of people that love it here and are going to stay here, or they move back from the mainland and they just want that beautiful home. And we've also got the climate, I suppose, too. Like, pushing down south a bit more, building better homes makes sense in cooler environments, as well as up north, obviously just a bit different style of construction. But yeah, and we all just get along. Like, it was probably different 10 years ago when I was an apprentice. Your bosses and that wouldn't really let on much. Everything would be kept pretty close to the cards, but you've got the boys, like obviously Luke Davies, Sheep, Shawnee Boy and all that. We've kind of all in the same fish pond now. So we're all, eating the same fish food and doing the same thing.
I mean, it's something that you've touched on a few times. Like, family is in like your immediate family, but then it sounds like there's a bigger family beyond that, which is now the construction industry, which is in Tasmania. Is this something that is this like always been something that's been close to you, like your core value, like having family in both the specifics and the general term? Like,
yeah, definitely. Obviously, family's always a staple, but for me, like, Zanetto Builders is a family. What I've found, and what most of my partners get sick of, is I spend more time talking to my work boys than I'll spend texting my missus, for example. Like, your work family are the people that you rely on for support. Also, when things are going bad and you don't feel comfortable to talk to your family or whatever, your boys at work, they'll be the first ones to kind of reach out, and we'll obviously reach back to them. So when I talk about family, I've got, my immediate blood-related family, and then I've got my work family, which are people that we would do the exact same thing for as your direct family. And the community in general, like, no one ever wants to see another business fail, which is so prevalent in the industry at the moment as well. So we're all here just to make sure that if someone is struggling, pick up the phone, go and have a coffee, catch up for a couple of hours, chew the fat off it, like we're doing here today. And just appreciating and helping each other, I think, is a big thing.
What have you implemented to be able to achieve that in your own business? How have you created those kinds of relationships that are so positive?
I just love me boys. Like, I think we've got a culture that's second to none in the building industry that I've seen. I'm happy to invest in my team as much as they want. Like, for example, we had the Master Builders Awards back in, I think it was October, and I think I dropped 25 grand, and I took all the boys down there, partners, teams, everything. We got orange bow ties. We turned up and we looked like a football team rolling in the doors. Like, we were there because we were there to support each other. And if you're entering a house into the award, it's not an individual accolade for one person. That's all right. The entire system needs to run to make this project come to life. So we turned up there. Yeah, we even brought a heap of the people over from the mainland that I'm quite close with. And I had apprentices coming up to me during the night saying, fuck, Kyle, like, we are all here as one individual unit. We've got our apprentices on board. There's no other apprentices here. It's just the bosses and the project managers. And then when I won Young Builder of the Year, I said, boys, this isn't me. Let's go. And a lot of the builders there were like, why are you taking your team up? I'm like, this isn't an individual award. Like, I'm not out on site building like I used to be and what I love doing now. My job is to bring in the customers and provide my team with projects so we can put food on the table. So if I'm not taking them up there, they're not going to appreciate me as a leader and as a business owner. So yeah, that's what we do. One thing we do it together as a family. So just
absolute inclusion for everyone. It's support. Yep. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't go and do a trade breakfast in the morning if two blokes have got to pour concrete. Like, no, the whole team goes to work.
Yeah. I love that, mate. And it's so you can actually feel that from what you guys do. It's not just a matter of putting up a reel and getting a few likes. Like that actual reel that you did make out of that night was sensational, though. But I think that's a big part of a team. We've all, most of us started as carpenters, and we loved building cool shit, and that's still the goal as a builder. But I think talking maybe to some young builders as you are, and maybe listening and they might pick this up to have a listen to what you've got to say. There's that whole story of you go from a carpenter transition into a builder, and you're actually not doing what maybe you went into it for the right reasons. I know from our side of things, I'm in my later 30s now, but it took me a while to get out of that headspace to say, just think about the building side of things and more put the business hat on to really make sure that the building company was being treated as that, as a business. And then we can then obviously keep food on people's tables and keep the projects going smoothly and not affecting other trades or anything like that too.
And that's exactly right, mate. It's where I think we forget to draw the line in the sand. You get better and better at what you do. You attract more leads, so you put on more blokes, and then you still end up working on the tools all day. And then you just get to a point where you take on more hours to accumulate the workload. And then it's only going to end up in the same place. You get burnt out, you're going to crash, you're going to lose a love for what you do. And we all go through the exact same cycle. Like, I haven't seen anyone that goes, cool, I've got 3 people, I'm going to get a business coach and take 3 afternoons a week off to work on the business. Yeah. It's I'll do this after hours, and I'll put this second to actually being on site working.